Alright, hey everybody, One of Wisdom here. It's Monday, June 26, 2012. Just recorded what'll hopefully be a cool deal. Kind of a fan-voted base tournament. I actually ranked them 1 to 32 in terms of, who you said was your favorite on the blog. Hopefully that goes over well. That said, another thing that I'd promised to do for quite a while is actually to give Skylander rankings of my own. I've had on the blog, their actual power stats for quite some time. If you've missed it, just scroll down right hand side under the Skylanders tab. That said, I'm going to do this 3 times, basically aesthetics, gameplay, and then later on I'll actually do my personal favorites, kind of disregarding these things. That said, the way this is laid out is actually aesthetically, whatever that may mean to you. Again, some people have the exact opposite order. Some people will agree with me. Most people are probably going to have a few things they agree on, some they disagree on. But that said, in my mind, I've got them ranked, again, just aesthetically here. And basically that means it's how they look. And again, that's very subjective, hence why everyone's going to have different opinions. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with number 1. They're actually ordered. I did 6 rows of 5 and then the back 2. So this is actually 1, 2, 3, Dino Ring 6, etc. But in my little personal fantasy world of Skylanders, the number 1 aesthetic Skylander to me is Prism Break. Don't know if anyone else feels that way. I just think that he was, pretty cool concept. And, I don't know if it's like the geology past I've got or something, but, just the way he looks, in game, in person, I think it was pretty awesome, particularly, when you upgrade him, you kind of have everything tie in together. And, might not be many people agree, but to me, aesthetically, I think he is the best of the 32. Second place in my little aesthetic rankings would be Warnado. He's one of my favorite Skylanders, one that I looked forward to for forever, mainly because he came out so late. What I like about him, not only, he's a turtle, he's got the spiked back, everything, just the fact that they incorporated the tornado aspect in with him, I thought was pretty cool, and that was good enough for me to put him number 2. Again, I'm kind of a bit of a weather buff, hence the tornadoes, and number 3, following that up, is Lightning Rod. Really like his look, I think it fits the character, the storyline's great and everything, but, mainly just the add-on of the lightning bolt. I just think it's pretty cool. Fourth up in our aesthetics ranking, I've actually got Zook. I'd say that, the ones that hold props to me generally have an edge unless I don't really particularly care for the prop. But he's got a bazooka in his hand. He's got the bamboo, kind of cuff bracelet thing going, armor. Really cool look to him. And that was good enough for 4th. 5th place is Igniter. He's just one of those ones, to me, it looks awesome. Having the flaming sword was a big deal. Without the sword, he probably wouldn't have been this high. But, hopefully we'll see some of these repos. That would probably change the rankings. Certain Skylanders had different, poses or aspects of their game. But I like him well enough for 5th in terms of aesthetics. 6th place, Dino Ring. He just looks great. I like the dinosaur aspect of it. He's kind of got, the gauntlet gloves on. And more importantly, he's got those golden boomerangs, which I think are a very nice touch for him. This is kind of an odd one. Terrafin, number 7. The reason I say that, he's not really holding anything, doesn't have the brass knuckles. But that said, I just really think the concept of having the dirt shark is pretty cool. And I think he looks pretty well. He's menacing. He's kind of got his brawler pose here. And just a big fan of his overall, and aesthetically, I think he fits the bill there for 7. Wham Chill, who I'm not a huge fan of, I do think aesthetically he looks pretty good. I try to be as... I don't take in things like gameplay where he is very, very, very low, in my personal opinion. That said, aesthetically, I think he looks pretty good. He's kind of got the, armor, he's the right color. Having the mace is a huge plus. Without the mace, I don't think he would have been here. Again, there's his back. I thought it kind of looked like a wiggler. People have said Chopchop. I can see both. Nonetheless, I think he does look pretty good. Stump Smash is kind of like Terrafin at number 9. He doesn't really have any items, but he does incorporate, his Stump Smash aspects. I've said it since the beginning, I just think he looks cool. He's not exactly the most, followed or raved Skylander, but in terms of aesthetics, I think they nailed it. That said, I'd still love to see a translucent green Stump Smash. I think that'd suit him very well. And then number 10 in my aesthetics ranking is Zapped. The reason for that, he's not really holding anything, but he does have the, packs on the back. He's kind of up, looks like he's about ready to slide on some sea slime. Just felt like he had a really good look, he's got the right color scheme in my opinion, and that was good enough for me. Number 11 is Sonic Boom. Again, I just kind of feel like with the helmet, the pose she's in, was pretty cool. So, number 11. 12, I've actually got Slam Bam. I kind of debated having him a little higher, but again, he didn't really hold anything. And, in terms of pure aesthetics, I actually felt like Terrafin and Stump Smash, kind of were, a little closer. That said, he's a very unique Skylander, looks great. Really, the addition of anything, a shield, the goggles, which I could see why they didn't do that. It would have been hilarious. It would have been quite a bit higher. Next up, we have number 13, Camel. Not a huge Camo fan. That said, he's in a great pose. And I really like the fact, that they made his back, kind of leafy. He's got that whole, vine aspect going on. And really the green, the orange, the yellow, the red, they just go together really well in my opinion. Number 14 is Trigger Happy. Obvious reasons. He looks exactly like you would expect him to then be in the game, character-wise, just like a gun-toting, happy lunatic. I don't say lunatic negatively, just he looks like someone who's having fun shooting stuff, And when you put him on the portal, that's exactly how he is in the game. The legendary version, doesn't look horrible, but I think his original looks pretty dadgum good, particularly with the revolvers. So that was good enough for 14th. 15th in my rankings is Wrecking Ball. Reason for that, it's just another one of those ones. He's not really holding or doing anything crazy. He just looks pretty dadgum good, in my opinion, in this pose. I feel like the colors are right. The green really sets off and pops with the blue paint for the main part of the character. Moving on to number 16, I believe, Drobot. Again, he's not really doing anything. He's kind of, I guess, in sort of a I'm ready to attack pose. Looks good. I mean, he's a dinosaur, with wings and robot aspects. Can't really go wrong. I wasn't quite sure what was up, with like the green and brown coloring was my main thing, kind of why I didn't rank him higher. I wouldn't mind seeing, like some accent colors on the underpinnings, and maybe, green legs, but I think he still looks great. He's overall a great character. Number 17 is Double Trouble. If I were to rehash this, I might put him a little higher. He looks great. He's holding his staff. The eyes. I mean, just even having him on the pool table, it's kind of uneasy when you try to sleep because they just follow you. Backside, I feel like they did great, with the headdress and the feathers, the tiki mask, the skirt. Just another one that they really nailed. 18 is going to be Flame Slinger. I could see them, maybe releasing him again, and having the, column of fire or something. Really looks pretty good. I just happen to prefer the other ones. That is also the case with number 19, Chopchop. What he's got going, of course, is he's got the shield and the sword. I kind of wish they'd have done, kind of like the purple or blue color, the vampiric aura, if you will, kind of around the sword. Sort of like they did with Igniter. That's really the only reason he's rated that low in my, personal list. I do like what he's holding. I like the pose. He's charging. But the shield was plain. The sword was plain. Felt like I would have liked to have seen a little something else. Voodoo, number 20. Looks pretty good, you know, he looks like you'd think he would. Wasn't a huge fan of the little headdress thing, like steer head plus a horn of some sort, you know. The axe was great. You know, just in my personal little rankings, I kind of felt like there were some better options. Number 21 is Ghost Roaster. Main reason for that, you know, I do think he looks pretty good. You know, you could have done colors, but I mean, black and red I think fit him pretty well. The mace looks great, the pain chain. That said, I'm such a big fan of Metalhead, his secondary attack. You know, if they released that as like a giant screaming skull for a re-release or something, that would be, you know, super awesome, and he would be much, much higher. I said Eruptor is going to be number 22. He actually looks pretty good. You know, there's really not a whole lot else they could have done. This is just one of those deals where with Stump Smash and Terrafin, basically in similar poses, and, you know, I just thought they looked better, so I got him down a little lower. Next up is number 23, Stealth Elf. She looks great, you know, you kind of get the feeling, even if you didn't know her name, you know, you'd kind of get the elf just based on the ears. The daggers are pretty cool. I feel like they could have maybe had a little something else with her, you know, would have been pretty nice. Next up is number 24, Gala Grunt. Not a huge overall fan of Gala Grunt in terms of gameplay. That said, he's pretty unique. You know, the blue, the coloring goes together really well. I like the contrast in the gloves. Got the big fish eyes. You know, the gun actually looks great, and he's got the hydro pack on the back. Sort of, you know, has that old school whiskey barrel look to it. I think overall, aesthetically, he looks great. Next up is Boomer. I do like his, you know, he's sort of got the Claw Patrol look going on, and Dynamite. That said, just kind of like the whole, you know, bearded aspect. I felt like maybe a different pose or facial expression or something might have bumped him up a little bit higher for me. Number 26 is Sunburn. A lot of people will probably be upset about this. To me, he's not really doing anything special, just sort of there, and then he's got the wings and doesn't fly. I think I held that against him, sadly. It looks pretty good, just in my opinion, not better than the ones ahead of him. Number 27 will be Drill Sergeant, who, again, you know, I think he looks pretty cool, and there's only so much they could do with him, but yeah, I just happen to like the others better. 28 will be Bash. You know, he looks pretty good, especially in his regular form. The legendary, you know, doesn't really flow as well. That said, you know, he wasn't really doing anything. He's, you know, he's got the tail mace going. You know, but he wasn't ready to attack. Didn't really have, you know, extra plating or anything. So, you know, 28th. Spyro, kind of the same deal. He's just sort of, you know, not even like a battle pose. Just kind of like a, you know, hey, here I am for display type deal. You know, he looks pretty good. You know, that said, in terms of aesthetics, I'd have to put him a little lower. That's why he's at 29th. Same thing applies to Whirlwind at 30. You know, unique character. You know, looks fine as is. I feel like the coloring is there. Kind of the eyes, I think, is why I rated it a little lower. Which they do a great job, you know, as you see them here in the camera, but, you know, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as feminine, I guess, as it could. 30 was, you know, just Whirlwind. 31 is Hicks. Again, she's actually, it's kind of tough when I got down here to the bottom end, but, you know, it's just relatively plain in the black dress. You know, the hair's there and everything. The crystal skull is a nice touch. I kind of would have liked to have seen a little something more with her. Felt like they left some on the table. And then 32 is actually Cinder, which I'm sure that won't be popular. But again, everyone will have their own opinions. Main reason, I'm just, in all honesty, I'm not a fan of purple and pink. And she's purple and pink, you know. That said, in game, it's another story. But just coming in and just to look at these and rank them, I'd have her last. She's actually in a pretty decent pose. I like the detail on her. Just, for me personally, she's 32nd. So, there you go. That is my own personal rankings, just aesthetically. Again, that means how they look. And to me, cream of the crop, best looking Skylander would be Prism Break. I just feel like they nailed it. He's completely unique. I really like the, basically the prisms, with him. They've got the rock, and they kind of, it looks like he cracked a geode open. You can see Prism Break coming out. Really felt like they nailed him, and just the fact that he's so unique. It's not like he's a dinosaur or a dragon, or, a sorcerer type. They just dreamed him up, and I feel like they did a great job. In game, he looks good. The power-ups are great. And then just looking solely at the aesthetics of the figure, I feel like it was just nailed because it's such an original concept. And, you have to admit he does look pretty sweet regardless of how you feel about him. So that's it. There's my 1 through 32. Again, I'll have this on the blog. I'll go ahead and have them, listed in order for you. It's easier to keep track of stuff that way. But, feel free to comment here, what your favorites are. Again, the blog would be a better place to do that. Just be easier with the list and everything. Don't expect everyone, really anyone, to agree with me, because everyone's probably going to be different. There might be someone with my exact same list that just swaps Cinder and Hicks. Something to that effect. But for me personally, this is the way I look at him aesthetically. And, that's all it is, really. Nothing trying to alienate people or, make people change their minds. There's probably a ton of people that like Cinder the best and have Prism Break at the very end of their list. So, like I said, it's just something, a lot of people asked for. I promised I'd do it once everything was kind of uploaded. So, here it is. Questions, comments, feel free to ask here on YouTube. Again, for a quick response, I recommend the blog, oneofwisdom.blogspot.com. I'll have a link with this post specifically to my aesthetics rankings you can comment on. Or, if it's just generic, you can just post up under Ask One of Wisdom or something. I say that just it's easier for me to get to that and, correspond with you, etc. I will hit the video comments as I can. It's just, there's so many of them, and it's really hard to keep up with. But you can also follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, whichever you prefer. As always, thanks for watching, and like I said, give me your feedback. Feel free to post up your favorites, whatever floats your boat, and just have fun with it, and we will catch you next time.